We are having a very warm month since it's really hot, and I understand the climate is really taking over us. But then, yeah, really want to thank God for this opportunity that we all got here to come together and talk about a few things that are really vital and really important, and it's good to deal with it. As I think you would be noticing that we are going to talk about acceptance, right? So so it is something that I feel that each and every one of us, one or the other way, we all are really seeking for it, right? Um, am I audible, Tina? Can you? Okay, yeah. One or the other way, I really feel that each and every one of us in our lifetime, we look forward to be accepted, right? We look forward to be embraced. We look forward so that someone will, know us, that we will be recognized, right? And this is the entire battle now that has changed into a pattern where everybody is just uh, running behind fame, and in kind of a pattern where actually people are just doing hard work so that people will come to know them, right? And this acceptance, where does it start? It starts from the very core of our life when we actually took birth, right? So there are few things I'll be talking about and trying to help and understand why this nature actually seeks acceptance, and what are the things we do in order to seek acceptance, and where all actually we can find our self-worth, and what is it to embrace ourselves, what is it to overcome the shame, and what is it to live in joy, right? So there are a few things that we'll be talking, and we'll be interacting, and we'll be trying to you know just share our thoughts with each other. So yeah, what do you think, what is acceptance? I think you can put your microphones on, and probably if you can put in a few thoughts. What is acceptance?
To feel being part of the community.
Being a part of a community? Yes. Okay. Anything else? Not being critical of the way things are. Okay. Yeah.
I think people should accept everybody with all their flaws as well. It's not just good to be perfect, but the imperfections too.
Yes. Very true. Very true. Acceptance, in a nutshell, if you talk about it, it's basically embracing one's weaknesses and strengths all together as one whole package, right? Right? When it doesn't have to be only the good part of yourself, it doesn't have to be the bad part of yourself. When you buy a mango, when you go pluck a mango from a tree, sometimes you even get the leaves, at the same time you even get the stem, but you don't eat them, but they are part of it, you know. So it all comes together as one. That is acceptance, acceptance as in whole, right? And Steve Maraboli, in his words, he says, acceptance makes an incredible fertile soil for the seed of change, right? When you accept, it creates an incredible fertile soil for the seed of change, right? And when we go forward, and we like to talk about a few behaviors when we are actually seeking acceptance, a few things that we would notice in our life when we are actually living through this life journey, and a few things that we would notice, we may and may not notice, a few things that actually comes as a part of a behavior when we are actually seeking acceptance, right? And number one could be taking some disagreements personally. Have you ever felt that? disagreement personally? Yeah.
Yes.
When someone disagrees, when someone disagrees with something you have said or done, you would take it to your heart personally and get upset about it, or probably even insulted about it. I remember the time when I think when I'm going to talk about acceptance, I personally, as a person, has actually gone through a lot of uh, attention seeking. You know, the time when I was really seeking acceptance from people, because probably just a few journey things I'll be talking to you as we go forward. So, uh, personally, when I talk about disagreement, I used to feel when I'm talking to somebody, if I'm giving about sharing my views, I'm trying to. I usually felt if somebody is not taking my point, and if he turns down my opinion, I used to feel upset. I used to feel insulted. I used to feel that because maybe my approval, my opinions really doesn't matter. Have you been in that space? Yeah. Can you relate with me?
Yes.
Uh, Afraid to say no, a fear of not being accepted. I think this is very common. This is very common when we come to a point when people when we have to say no, we cannot. We keep on saying yes to everything and to everyone. This is a mode where you don't want people to think that you as person who would say no, right? You never want anybody to feel bad that Arey, this person said no to me. He turned down my proposal. No. When this feeling slides in, we would do anything to look good in others' view. When you are in a space, when you're in a place where you're actually seeking acceptance, what you do is you keep on doing everything what the other person likes, what he's expecting out of you. We get scared. I really don't want to do this. You say it within your heart. Sometimes in your mind, your thoughts are running this way. You say, I really don't want to do this, but if I say no, then what if they won't want me anymore in their group? What if I am rejected? What if I am not really wanted? I'm scared to say no. These questions in our mind, full of insecurity and fear, pushes us to do the worst of worst things in life just so that we can be accepted. Do anything just to be accepted. We don't hesitate to say no. We just keep saying yes, yes, and become a yes man for everything, right? What is the what is the third behavior? Not standing up for your own rights. You know, a lot of times we allow people to even put us down, and allowing them to say and do things to us, right? The way they want us to do, the way they want us to see the situation, the way they want us to actually look into the matter. It may take us through the track of humiliation, demeaning, call us names. We willfully hand over the whip. Have you seen a whip? Yeah, we willfully hand over the whip into the hands of others so that they can control us, just because we want to be accepted, just so that we can make some space, a tiny space into that small gap of group, so that we can be accepted. We willfully give ourselves away, right? We willfully actually just let other people use us, no matter how it makes us feel. We press ourselves down, we crush ourselves down, and saying that it is okay to be crushed, it is okay to be demeaned, it is okay to be humiliated, right? हम अपने आप को कई बार जो है अपने आप को ढकेल देते हैं, अपने आप को दबा देते हैं, ताकि हम दूसरों की सहमति को प्राप्त कर सकें, right? Many of us may not even know what our rights are. Why? हम में से कई लोगों को हमें हमारी हमारी हमारे हक के बारे में या हमारी इच्छाओं के बारे में हमें नहीं पता. Many of us may not even know that, because our entire life was just living on the grace of other person's opinion. बाकियों की जिंदगियों के विषय में या उनकी परिभाषाओं के ऊपर हमारा जीवन निर्भर था. living the life others wanted us to live. But when we call us that we are unique, when we see that we don't look alike, thank God, and we don't our thoughts are different, our circumstances are different, our opinions are different, our experiences are different, everything is just so different, then how can we live the same photographed life just the other person is living? We cannot. But we willfully do it. We allow that to happen because we want to be accepted. Gaining attention or acceptance through the gossips. This is something I very well remember when I was growing in my teenage. This is a situation that probably I could say that I was again part of. So that my friends will accept me and involve me in their group and the conversation, so that I can be seen and I can be felt that okay, yes, Alish has a say, Alish has some views, Alish has some point of views that he can put it in, and probably we can also remember him. They can also remember me the next time when they actually have this kind of a criticisms towards another person. Yeah, gossip one way makes them recognize me, right? Have you find yourself in that kind of a situation where you actually pop in and just share your view about the third person whom you don't even know? Maybe we often get involved in criticism and evaluate others along with the other who also are doing the same, just so that we will feel welcomed, just so that they will also give me some space, and I can crack in, I can just talk about other person. it I might think that it's not actually harming me, but do you even think that gossip is the right thing to do? Is that a right track of finding acceptance? We are actually putting the third person you know in a space of okay, let's do this. We'll talk about the third person. He's not even here, he will not even know. It's okay, but I get to be accepted. I get the space so that people will see me. People will see this man and they will know me for these kind of talks. It doesn't harm. Yeah, yeah. What is the other? Appearing to agree with someone verbally, non-verbally, when you are doing, when you don't. Right? There are points. Have you ever noticed this? Uh, Agreement. One of the places when you lose your self-confidence and you feel you're too small or too less than others. Have you felt like that? Yeah. When you're actually standing in a bunch of group, I felt like that when I was in my school. um, I was not much exposed to the gadgets and to the things that I was to my other friends were actually exposed to. And when I used to be in their group, you know just to feel that acceptance, when they used to bring things and talk about things, uh, um, and even if I don't know, if I used to feel that if I say no, I don't know about what you're talking about, I used to feel that I'm too small, I'm not up to the mark. Sometimes even we used to we even call ourselves dumb, and that's too harsh on yourself. There comes a moment when you actually don't agree with the person, but you won't say it out, thinking that your opinions are not valued. That if you show your disagreement, you will be disliked by people. Have you felt like that? Just because you want to be accepted, just because you want to be welcomed, you agree, uh, verbally, non-verbally, even to the things actually you don't, right? Just so that you will be accepted, even if things are going wrong, that there are wrong decisions being made, yet we do this, we say this so that we can be accepted, pretending to know and understand something. I have often faced this issue, still do, and I think when there is a uh, excellent conversations happening, and if there are people who are very knowledgeable and talking about things, I as a person struggle with this. It was really hard for me to say that I don't know. We all, I think, come into that. We often feel that thing, when we actually spread this mouth and we take those words out of our mouth saying that I don't know. We used to feel, how can you not know? How can you not know? It's impossible. This is a 5G generation. Come on, you need to be up to the mark. How can you not know? It's a shameful thing that you feel, right? That how can you not know, right? We feel when we say that we don't know, or when we just accept the fact that we actually don't know about particular things when we are in a group, even if it's a peer pressure, even if it is in your office, even if it is your ministry or wherever you are, it is so hard to just be yourself and just say that you don't know, right? We feel sometimes when we say that, we feel that we are not worth, and we don't find, and when we don't find anything to cure such damages, in the instance of that moment, we pretend to be knowledgeable, and we pray within us. That time I often did that when I used to agree to certain things, and when I said certain things that I know about, I often prayed, God, I'm going to say, I've said yes that I know about it, but then let not these people ask me let not these people ask me any questions based on that. It's going to be scary. It's going to be scary. It's completely out of my topic. It's completely out of my knowledge. But if I say a yes, that means I just pray that these people are not going to ask me the questions based on that. I'm going to be caught. That'll be more shameful. All right. How do you find yourself in that kind of a stage where you actually are seeking acceptance and you pretend to be knowledgeable about certain things? Have you find these behaviors, right? Feeling the need to apologize even when there's been no disapproval. We tend to keep apologizing. We tend to keep saying sorry, 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 sorry. हम माफी मांगते रहते हैं. क्या आपको कभी भी ऐसा फील हुआ है कि आप बिना किसी वजह के आप जो है माफियों को मांगते रहते हैं, लोगों से माफी मांगते रहते हैं. आपको पता है ऐसा कैसे कब होता है? When does this happen? It happens because somewhere deep down we don't see ourselves good enough, because you're not really ready to accept yourself and say that you can come out of something good. There's something good out of your life can ever produce. And that is the reason that if you feel a little bit of sense of anything that has gone wrong, even if it is not wrong, you go on apologizing again and again, over and over, so that you will not lose that relationship. I was there in that space for a long time. Every friend I've made, in every friendship and in every relationship, with the interaction with any human being, I used to be very careful to just hold on to that person and say, usko chot nahi lagni chahiye, usko dukh nahi lagna chahiye, you know oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I was a boy so scared to lose any relationship. I used to cry. In class 6, I remember, in my 6th standard, there was a boy who was my very close friend, and I remember he said, not going to talk to you. I'm not going to talk to you. I kept on apologizing for 3 days. I cried in front of him. I cried in front of him. I told him, please don't get angry with me. You know why? Because now when I think about it, I feel that there is nothing good enough that could come out of me. And since there is nothing good that could come out of me, I kept on apologizing to everybody because I don't want to lose those relationships. And it didn't end there. You might be thinking, I'm grown up now, I'm 31. It ended there. No, it did not. I got married. And even now, me and my wife, when we have an argument, I go on, say sorry, and it goes on, and she gets irritated. Why you keep apologizing? And I don't know, when that question strikes me, I don't know what to say. I'm out of words. I don't know. I am apologizing because I feel I should apologize, but now I realize why I apologize. I apologize because I really feel, even now, there's nothing good that could come out of me. The self-worth, the confidence, the self-esteem was crushed a long years back. We don't even realize when, unless we come face to face with these kind of issues when we talk, right? Anything could better ever come out of me. Fear of making decisions. Have you faced that, guys? Everybody does, right? कौन से college जाएं, which college to go, what to do, yeah, what decision to take, whom to marry, yeah, what dress to wear, all the opinions, we seek opinions, right? ये अच्छा है क्या, वो अच्छा है क्या, is this good, is this nice, how do I look? All these fears together cripple us. Yeah, exactly, Tina. लोग क्या कहेंगे? लोग मेरे बारे में क्या कहते हैं? In one single life, you want to be your grandmother, your grandfather, your father, your mother, your brother, your sister, chacha, mama, everybody. Where are you? Have you ever thought about that? Where are you? Where is your life? Are you living your life or are you living somebody else's life? These fears of acceptance is crippling us day by day. We are just left with the body and the emotions are controlled by people around us. If you cry, oh, you can't cry. If you love, oh, he can't love. If you say this, you can't say this. Oh, that was too harsh. It had to be this way, it had to be that way. All these things actually, it plays like a pressure cooker. And we are constantly boiling in it. Sometimes I feel my life is like a sambar. If it is a sambar, sambar is a mix of all those vegetables. People come, take whatever they like. I want to be me, right? I want to be me. So scared to the fact that if you can ever be right in your life, how am I supposed to make a decision? Even in my job, I keep on asking people, ये कर सकते हैं, वो कर सकते हैं, ऐसे कर सकते हैं, वैसे कर सकते हैं. Even though I know I'm good at it, yet I want to seek opinions because I was so pressed down to the fact that I cannot make a decision on my own. No, your past experience have left a mark on you saying that you cannot make a right decision ever. Now live with it. You grew up with it, you studied with it, you're going to work with it, you're going to make a family with it, and you're going to die with it. In fear. Such is life. No, it's not. Your decisions are very well connected to your life, your scenarios, your experiences, your circumstances in which you are living in right now, this moment, this very moment. And God speaks to you in your circumstances. He enables you to take decisions based on your circumstances, not on your neighbor's circumstances. Right? You make decisions based on your circumstances. You want to study what your heart wants you to study, right? You don't want to study what your neighbor is wanting you to study. Maybe I would have been a milkman by now. My neighbor is a milkman, so that's the case. Fear of rejection. How many of you feel rejected? I want the mics to be on sometime, just to make it more interactive. I don't want to be speaking like as I'm speaking to myself. Well, in a way, the session is supposed to be speaking to yourself, but then, yeah, we are interacting here. So, how many of you feel rejected? How many of you can, explain me what is rejection?
The feeling of unwantedness.
Unwantedness, yeah.
Lonely.
Lonely.
Never being enough.
Never being enough. Yeah.
Fear of being left out.
Unworthy. Blank inside us.
Validation.
Validation. Okay, yeah. Useless. Useless. Good for nothing. Yeah.
Not accepting who you are.
Sorry.
Not accepted for who you are.
Not accepted for who you are. Being always being labeled, always have a benchmark, not prioritized, thinking that I'm not worth anything. Yeah, yeah. It's like pushing someone or something really away, like you're worthless, right? Stay there. You belong to garbage. You don't have any space in this world, right? It's a fast generation. You can't be slow. Is it our fault? Is it a human being's fault to be himself, not up to the standards, thinking twice before taking my own decisions? Okay, yeah, yeah. How does it even feel? One may experience rejection from one's family origin, right? A friend or a romantic partner, from your wife, from your father, from your relatives, and resulting emotions can often be painful. Rejection can be experienced on a large scale and even smaller scales too. Not being appreciated, respected, right? I want to ask you one thing. How do you think you can accept yourself? How do you think, how you should accept yourself? Why there is a need to be accepted? Why is it important that I should accept myself?
We can accept ourselves by accepting our flaws and strengths.
Yeah, that's a very good thing. It takes quite a strength to do that. Yeah, thank you. It's a very important thing because every human being is created unique and very different from each other. Thank God we don't look alike. We look different, and it's nice, it's colorful, it's good. Yeah. Do you accept yourself? It might sound like an odd question sometimes when you accept you. Yes, of course I accept myself. I'm happy, I'm well to do, I eat my food on time, I go to gym, I do this, that. Well, one heck of a day. I really, every morning after taking bath, I stand in front of the mirror and I say, I'm good, I'm smart, and I'm happy. Yeah, I do that, right? It's a very odd question to ask, that do I accept myself? What does it even mean to accept yourself? Don't we all accept ourselves on a regular part of life, day-to-day lives? Don't we? Yeah. As it turns out, self-acceptance is not an automatic or a default state. It cannot happen on its own. Many of us have the trouble accepting ourselves exactly as we are. Many of us. Why? You know why? Because this world will always show us a graph of the things that we are not good at. And there will be only a small graph of things that you are good at. So often our focus is on something to do good at, right? So what happens is we accept the good part of our life because we want to be shown as good, and we want to be accepted wherever we are, be it your circumstances, wherever you are, your scenario, wherever you are, we want to be shown like we are good. So our focus is on the good. So what do we accept in ourselves is only the good part. It is not so hard to accept the good parts of our lives, right? Am I right? Does that make sense? Yeah. But what about the rest? What about the rest of our life? What about those things actually are dirty within ourselves? Things are which are smelling so bad, like a garbage. What about that not so good stage of our life? Do we accept that? Surely we shouldn't accept that flaws and failures of our life. No, 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 that's not part of life. That's like Corona year. Gone. Gone for toss. It's like a year 2020 just vanished. Just the same way these flaws and failures don't even exist in my life. No, they don't. because
I
I don't want
think
to be.
I think we should accept our failures because ultimately it's teaching us to become a better person. Like we can work hard more to improve where we were lacking. Also, it serves as a part of a learning only. It's creating a
Exactly.
learning for us to move ahead in the right direction. So
Exactly.
accepting your flaws, accepting your failures. Okay, yes, I've done wrong. I've been a part of it, and fine. I agree it was not a good thing, but yes, we've done it. But now, why not move ahead of it? It's been a
Exactly.
learning, and we wouldn't do it again, and we would move to something better to change our lives.
Yep. You're right. I mean, that is something when the moment you accept your failures, the moment you accept the real self, the dirty part of you, the failure part of you, the part which you really don't want to look in, that is exactly when you actually grow. It gives you the opportunity to grow, right? How, when we ask you, when anybody comes and asks, when you want to ask yourself, how do I accept myself? I accept myself as whole, the good, the bad, the ugly, right? It all comes in one package, and we need to accept it. When we accept the bad part of ourselves, often it turns out to be like, how am I supposed to do that? There is so much of negativity which is in myself. How am I supposed to do it? It is so painful. I only see the bad part of my life. I only see those negativities of my life. What people have told me, what my parents have said it to me, my friends have constantly drilled it in my head, saying that you are not good, you're not up to the mark, blah, 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 blah. What do? You learn to embrace yourself. I want every one of you to actually give yourself a hug. Just go for like a jadoo ki jump. Just give yourself a hug. Do it. I can see your cameras on. Do it. How do you feel? Yes, and say it. Yes, I love myself. Say it. I love myself. And it is a healthy practice. It's a healthy practice to do that. We need to constantly remind ourselves and embrace ourselves and say that this good, the bad, the ugly within us, it is me. It is me, right? William Sloane Coffin, he says this: I am not okay. You can write it down if you want. It's a really good statement. William Sloane, he says that I am not okay. You are not okay, and that's okay, right? I'm not okay. You're not okay, and that's okay. Doesn't have to be perfection. We don't measure people's personality with perfection. We don't we don't evaluate their emotions with perfection. No, no. In order to do that, you need to learn to love yourself. You need to love yourself. What is it to be like doing a self love? What is self love? It is easy to say I love you, right? Hey, I love you. Hey, I love you so much. When we meet in a place and we just go and say, hey, I love you so much. It's nice to see you. It's been a long time. And we text, sometimes when we text to people, when we make points and we say, hey, how are you doing? Missed you so much. Love you. You really do. But actually, it is impossible to love anyone without loving yourself. Ah. I'll answer that. Yeah. You can't love anybody without loving yourself. Because the belief about self is what we run on others. Right? If you fail to love yourself, then you're certainly not loving the person either. Just hoax, nothing else. To whom you're expressing your love and you're pouring out all the emotions and words and poetry, makes no sense unless you love yourself. Because you're going to treat that person the way you treat yourself. Right? We need to take a constant effort to love ourselves. Yes, to love ourselves. And it's not selfish. It's not selfish. It is healthy. अगर आप विमान में उड़े हैं तो वहां पे सबसे पहले कहते हैं कि जो ऑक्सीजन का मास्क है पहले अपने लगाएं फिर बाद में दूसरे के लगाएं। जब तक आप अपनी सेहत नहीं बचा सकते, आप दूसरों की सेहत को भी नहीं बचा सकते। अगर आप खुद से भी प्यार नहीं कर सकते, आप दूसरों से भी प्यार नहीं कर सकते। राइट? Love our weaknesses, love our strengths. I know your audios are mute. You can say that. I love my weaknesses and I love my strengths. You can repeat behind me. I love my weaknesses and I love my strength. You must love yourself before you love another. By accepting yourself fully being what you are, your simple presence can make others happy. By simply being who you are. If you aren't good at loving yourself, you will have a difficult time loving anybody. Anyone. Be it your friend, mother, father, sister, wife. You cannot. You will resent the time and energy you give another person that you aren't even giving to yourself. And you don't want to be in that space. Learn to love yourself. Take this time, take this moment to love yourself, and it's good. You will see the beautiful things within you. You will see the beauty that is actually sculptured within you, the good parts within you, the strengths within you, the capabilities within you. How do you practice self-love? Mindfulness of practice. Okay, what do we do is start a mindful practice. Commit to sitting in a silence for at least 10 minutes if possible. Just 10 minutes a day. I don't think that's a long. You can you can watch Netflix for like 4 hours a day and go for all the long episodes for day and night since it's lockdown. I'm sure all of this can still stay online, but this moment, this 10 minutes is for you to take it completely for yourself. Focus completely on the breathing deeply. Just take a deep breath, just like refreshing your computer. Just take a deep breath. If your mind wanders, return to the focus and your breath. And mindfulness actually helps you to gain awareness about your thoughts, feelings, and your experiences. It also helps you in present moment, which is useful if you are dwelling on your past. A lot of time, what we do is our mind is wandering on the past. ये हुआ था, वो हुआ था, फलाना हुआ था, ऐसे हुआ था, वैसे हुआ था, this happened to me, that happened to me. Yes, that is true. But the moment you give the access to the past to actually define your present, you're going to ruin it in double measures. Don't let your past ruin you. Make it, turn it, and sculpt it into an instrument which can lead people into the light. Right? Your mess is to be a message. Right? Your mess has to be a message. So don't say that my past has been this, so I want to kick it away. No. Don't let it affect you. But be creative enough to use it as a message to the people. Speak to yourself. How many of you speak to yourself? I do this barbadao usually when I'm thinking about certain things. Yeah. When I'm alone, when I'm making a plan, when I'm thinking about some strategy in my head, I speak to myself. I do that. Battle the shame by changing the narration in your mind, in your head, that you have been telling yourself all along. Changing the narration in your head, the way you have been telling yourself about the shame, you need to change that. Instead of harsh judgment and criticisms, reframe your eternal scripts of patterns into love. Do I make sense? Do I make sense? The harsh judgments that you do on yourself, I'm not good, I'm not this, I'm not that, I'm bad, I'm not loved, my parents don't love me, why am I even born? Take those criticisms and change it into love. You are to love yourself. Make those compassionate statements for yourself. For example, rather saying, I can never do anything right. You say that, I can never do anything right. Instead of that, just say, I'm doing the best that I can do right now. In that, you're giving enough room for yourself to learn. At the same time, you know that you're not perfect, but yet you accept yourself. Be compassionate. Accept yourself. Accept that you may go in and out of the episodes of shame whenever it comes. The process of overcoming shame is not a straight line. You may backtrack several times before getting in control. A lot of times. A lot of times. Even then, certain situations may cause shame to rear its ugly head sometimes. Be patient with yourself. Be patient with yourself and repeat the steps as many times as needed. As many times as needed. Just keep going back to it. Don't give up. Don't give up. Look for your strengths and weaknesses. How many of you have taken time to actually look for your strengths and weaknesses? Do you do that? SWOT analysis stuff. Do you do that? It's really hard when I think I have taken that test at least 3 or 4 times, and back in my college and during my work recently, I think we did that. It's really hard to see and look into myself and think about the good things that I have. Often that bad things come out. I'm angry, I'm selfish, I'm bad, I can be mean, I have a lot of hatred, I can slap somebody easily, I get angry, it's on the tip of my nose. Well, I when I was growing up, I was known as an angry man. I don't know my people do even remember that, but they often told that this guy has anger issues and need to be very careful with his anger. And my mom used to tell my father often that just stay away from him when he's angry. He can go violent. Well, people saw the outward expression of my behavior, but it was really hard for anybody to look into the real core problem. Often your emotions have a lot of deep things which are hidden within itself. Emotions are usually seeking some sort of acceptance, some sort of need which is actually putting in. It's just we need to take a step back and figure it out. What is it exactly? Spend time with yourself, strengths and weaknesses. Spend time with yourself and explore your strengths and weaknesses. And it's a good practice to do so. Because often when we are living on the expectations of others, we don't see the need of exploring our strengths and weaknesses because we are never given that platform. Right? School mein, there are good talented people. Office mein, there are highly educated and skillful people. Ghar pe, there are high valued my relatives, my family people. I can't speak myself in front of them. Where do I go? Where do I go? Where are my strengths? I am living constantly. Alish needs to be this. Alish needs to be that. Alish needs to be this. Alish needs to be that. And this and that. My life is stuck between two words, this and that. What do I do? Where are my strengths? Where are my weaknesses? What is this? Mostly what happens is we so much live under the grace of others' perspective about us. We don't explore our strength. We don't explore our weaknesses. We don't even know what we are good at. And recently, when I was preparing all of this, I was given a short journaling, and I was supposed to just mention a few things that I'm good at, and I kept on fiddling something. I don't know. I just scribbled something out and I sent it, and this person asked me, hey, what about these things as a musician, as an artist? I was so scared to accept the fact that I'm a drummer. I was so scared because I used to feel so intimidated by other drummers in my group. I used to feel that I am not good. I can never be good. I was so hesitant to even write that I am a drummer. I cannot. I just thought it's a click of a moment. I became a drummer. I paid it for some time. That's okay. That's done. Gone. I am not a drummer. I'm not an artist. There are great artists, you know, out there, and I don't want to be there and say that. No, doesn't you need to bring up that courage to say that when you actually notice somebody else doing good, you should be having that much of courage to say that yes, I appreciate he's a very good artist. I'm also not that bad. Don't be too hard on yourself. I'm still, I'm not saying that I'm perfect at it, but I'm still fighting it. Just being truthful. I'm still fighting it, but I know these are the things which can help. The journey that I'm walking on, I want all of you to walk along, right? A few things further, how to build your strength. Take baby steps each day, you know, just take small steps and make sure that you don't give up easily, you know. It is so hard to build that strength in this perfectionist era that we are living in, because there are so many perfect people around us. Those baby steps are going to help you. Those baby steps are going to help you to figure out your strengths that you have. How will you work on your weaknesses? You know, your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all those barriers within yourself that you have built against it, right? It is not, how will you actually look for, how will you work on your weaknesses? Whenever you are aware about your weakness, what you do is you should be in a space to tackle those weaknesses whenever it is coming as a barrier between you and your perfection, you and your strength. When you're about to hit that perfect peak of strength, you know that these weaknesses can trigger you. Think about the strategies in which you can actually figure that out and, you know, take control over your weaknesses. Remind yourself about your worth. Remind yourself about your worth, that you are worthy, you are important, you are valued, you're not less, right? What is the antidote to the acceptance? The antidote to acceptance is rejection, right? Rejection. You just don't feel rejected by others, but at first you feel rejected in your own self. You reject yourself constantly, saying this, I'm not good, I'm not this, I'm not that, I'm not worth, I cannot match up, I am not going to be successful, my parents will be never happy out of me, my spouse will be never be happy with me. These are the rejections, the word of rejections that you form, that you keep telling for yourself. Many of us go through the rejections in form of childhood. Do you know that? From our childhood. But it is really not so clear because we are so young to understand these things. And it hinges along with us during our teenage, our adulthood, our old age, and our death. And if it's not dealt, it keeps on going till we die. Overcoming shame. What is shame? A painful feeling of humiliation or distress caused by the consequences of wrong or foolish behavior. Google says so. Where does shame begin? Right? Where does shame begin? Shame begins, I feel, shame begins ever since your childhood, from when you're a kid, when your sense of self is developing, right? What does shame do to us? An unresolved shame can lead to feelings of depression, anxiety, low self-esteem. How many of you have been through shame? How many of you have been through shame? How many of you are still living in shame? Right? I don't look good. I feel ashamed. My eyes are not good. I feel ashamed. My nose looks like pakora. I feel ashamed. I can't walk outside. I'm bald. I'm ashamed. I'm short. I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed of my family. I'm ashamed of my background, my past. I'm ashamed. I'm not well to do. A lot of shame. How do we overcome the shame? Talk to yourself. Bring the shame into the light. It is very important. Bring the shame into the light. Untangle what you're feeling. Untangle, sit, take time and untangle what you're feeling. Unhitch what you do from who you are. It's very important. Often things that you do in shame is not who you are. Take that out. There's a difference. Recognize your triggers where you feel ashamed. Recognize all those times and moments where you actually feel that you feel ashamed. How long are we going to live in shame? It's a life of freedom, right? It's a life of freedom. Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. Acknowledge how shame is holding you back. Shame is a strong emotion that can convince you that you are flawed and unworthy. Right? It shuts you down, inhabits you, and separates you from others. You don't want to be in that space. You don't want to be in that place in your group because you're so ashamed. Even though that group might not be thinking bad about you, you just feel so ashamed. Recognize the story you have been telling yourself so that you can figure out how to change it. Spot what you have been narrating about yourself, your abilities, your life, whatsoever. Your shame story probably pops up whenever you feel down about yourself, isn't it? Whenever you're thinking low about yourself, that you're not worth, this is the time, that's exactly the time the shame pops in. When you fail to connect with certain people, you might tell yourself, I'm unlikable, or people finding me boring. I used to tell that to myself when kids used to come home. My wife loved kids, and I tell her, I don't know, I feel I'm very boring for the young people. When they come home, I just don't know how to interact. I don't know what to say. We need to buy some board games so that we can keep on interacting. Because I don't know, look at me, I feel so boring. I used to say that to myself. And you won't believe I eventually became so boring. Became so boring because I constantly kept on saying to myself, sit with your emotions, don't push them away. A part of dealing with shame involves letting yourself feel the emotions underlying it. Name the emotion beneath your pain and sit with it. It is very important that you sit with it. For instance, maybe you feel humiliated about your divorce or your relationship or the rejection that you failed because you wouldn't acknowledge the humiliation. Shame crept in. Shame took that place. Now your backdrop is shame, not that issue. Say something like this: I feel humiliated about my divorce, I feel humiliated about my failures, I feel humiliated about my weaknesses, I feel humiliated about my rejections. I think everyone sees me as a damaged goods. Afterwards, sit with that feeling without trying to push it away. Sit with that feeling and consider journaling about what you feel when you feel ashamed, when you felt that particular moment, how you felt it, whether it's a person or other feelings you're normally keeping buried. It is important to acknowledge them by yourself. Important to acknowledge them by yourself. Forgive yourself for being a human. Being human. Forgive yourself for being human because we make mistakes. Shame causes you to judge yourself harshly for something you did, right? Oh, the depression of, oh my goodness, I did this, I'm so ashamed. Oh my goodness, what a dumb I am. I cannot believe. However, when you are acknowledgeable about the mistakes you've made was a human, and that many others have also made the same mistakes, when you realize that the same is reduced. To say that to yourself, forgive yourself. Forgive yourself on a constant basis. Say that I know I made this mistake. It's not a big thing. I'm weak. I know that, but I will work on it. I will work on it. Share your story if you want to. Trust me, guys, if you really want to get away from shame, this power of shame, the demon right on your head sitting there and saying that you are shameful, you are shameful, 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 you want to get away with it, share your story. Trust me, when you share it, shame actually tends to isolate you from others. You know that it actually isolates you from your friends, from your circle, from your fellowship. The more you play into it, the more you withdraw. Counter by opening up and showing your vulnerability to someone you trust. Find somebody whom you can talk to, a trustworthy person. Talk about your shame. Talk about it. Tell about your shame story to someone close to you. You will likely find it that telling your story frees you from the feeling of shame. It will free you from the burden of shame, and you can feel relieved. You can feel the freedom. See your worth. It is very important that you see yourself worthy. On a constant basis, tell yourself that you are worthy. Write it down on numerous times on paper whenever you get time. I'm worthy of this, I'm worthy of that, I can do this, I'm not worthless, I'm not worthless. Develop a good thing list. Write about the good things that you do. Probably you are an artist, probably you are a singer, dancer. Just say that, yes, I am good at this, I am good at that, I am good at drumming, I am good at singing, I am good at cooking, I love cooking, right? Say that to yourself. Say, make a good list, good habit list, good thing list. Try something new to build your self-esteem. Sometimes, you can be caught up with the situation where you're feeling that, arey yaar, what is happening, I can't really do this, this is so hard, and you keep on chewing on the same thing, like the cow cutting over his food. You don't want to do that, right? You don't want to do that. Just try something new. Shame can keep you trapped into your comfort zone. So many people are isolating themselves in the room and ended up committing suicide because the constant pressure of shame that is hitting their head, it keeps on challenging them. It keeps on challenging them. Take that risk and challenge yourself in a new way that can help you break out of that pattern. Come out of your life, that pattern, that shame pattern that you're living in. Come out of it. This can be something really big or minor. It can be even going to the kitchen and taking up a task of washing dishes. It is okay, do that, but don't sit and just chew on that shame, because it is going to be feeling like it's going to be tasty, but it's not. It's like a slow poison. It's like a slow poison. Small challenges could be speaking to a stranger or reading a book. If you like to do that, you know take small tasks, set small actionable goals for yourself. Anything that can be. You want to set a small goal of fitness, you can do that. you know we also try to run CrossFit, and we try to share exercises. You can contact us for that also. We can help you with that, not a problem. You can do that. But then do those small actionable goals. Take time for yourself out. Get out of that pattern of shame. Get out of the pattern of routine that you're living in, which shame has actually put you in. You are not bracketed, you're not boxed, you are yet to be lived in freedom. Take that take that goal. Living in joy. When you ask me about living in joy, wow, what is it to be living in joy? Can I have your mics on? What is it to live in joy? Can somebody tell me what is it to live in joy? Mics, please.
I think joy and happiness are two different things. So basically, happiness can actually be a result of your situation being good in front of you, but joy is something that basically you are not really dependent on your situation, but you're happy because you are. Those of you who believe in God, it can be like you're happy because your happiness is in God, but some people who will not understand that context, I would say that you're happy from the inside and not really dependent on the outward situations.
You're right. You're right. Yeah. Rashid Rashid Ogunlaru once said, "Live your life, sing your song. Live your life, sing your song, not full of expectations, not full of ovations, but for the joy of it." Live your life, sing your song, not full of expectations, not full of ovations, but for the joy of it. Living in joy. If you ask me personally, living in joy, I would be saying that it is living in freedom. Freedom. Freedom from worrying about what people are thinking about me. Freedom from constantly worrying that you have to live up to the others' expectations. Freedom from fear of being rejected. Freedom from the fear of placing your opinion. Freedom from being worried that, yes, I'm different. Freedom from the fear of being alone. The more we take efforts to explore ourselves and take a look deep within, we see there are so many beautiful capabilities within ourselves, which were these don't even know ever since, but because we were not given the chance to even explore those goodness and those capabilities within us. But the moment you come into a contact with them, you find the immense joy. The moment you see those strengths that you you have that immense joy within yourself. You know that you are worth, you know that you are accepted, you know that you are valued, you know that your opinions matter, you know that whatever you are, whoever you are different, and you're differently made, and you're made with a purpose. You are to be yourself. Along with exploring these capabilities and talents, you need to believe in them. You need to believe in your weaknesses. You need to believe in your capabilities, in your strengths. That's when you live in joy, because you have a clarity, you live in transparency, and you live to the fullest. That's why you are created. Say it to yourself with affirmations. I am good at such and such things. I am this. I am that. Not negatives, all positives. Because the moment you spread this positive pill into your mind and to your heart, when you say to yourself, there's this instant healing that takes place. There's this instant healing that comes across and puts you into a space of joy which is unspeakable. With this joy which cannot be measured by any other or any people in this world, any of those family member or any of the person who's coming across and trying to define it to you. No, it's your joy, and you will feel it and you will experience it only when you are ready to explore yourself. Living in joy is nothing else but in living in freedom. These affirmations that you do, which you might do, I hope so, to the self will bring the sprout of confidence within you. Have you seen sprouts? They are small, right? They will sprout the confidence within you, which will one day build your self confidence and your self worth to a different level. I hope this small time of actually interaction, uh, it was really fruitful for me, because me standing in a space and trying to understand how is it, what is it, exploring my life, it wasn't easy. But then coming to a point of exploring myself has actually led me into a space of understanding that I am valued, that I am accepted. Yeah. So I hope what I spoke and what we could gather together here, it's not going to be waste, but then we are going to use it for our own betterment, to be a better ourselves, to be a better self being, and to see what are the good things that can come out of our life, because each and every one of us who's here on this earth has something really, really beautiful within themselves. All you need to do is step up, go to it, say it, spend time with it, receive it, and enjoy it. Thank you. Jerry?
All right. Thank you so much, Alish, for sharing. I'm sure it was a very